What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. I'm Melinda Colon. I'm glad that you're here. Today, we're going to talk through some examples on how to write winning government contract proposals. What is going to separate you from other companies that are winning your contracts? And I say yours because your competitors are already doing this. Most of the time, you want to be ahead of them. And I'm going to teach you some secret strategies so that you can start utilizing them in your proposal. But it first starts with the right mindset because we don't want to start winning proposals just to win proposals, right? Of course, Melinda, we want to win proposals. But more importantly, we don't want to waste our time, right? Like, how many of you have ever wasted your time writing a proposal, submitting the proposal, and then hearing crickets, nothing? And you already know, you were like, I didn't get it. Let me follow up. If you even get to that point. See, most contractors who submit proposals don't follow up. They don't ask for debriefs, they don't ask for feedback. And so they don't know what's wrong. After doing this for decades now, for years now, for helping businesses that are six figure, seven figure, eight figure, and plus win government contracts at state, local, and federal levels that have totaled over $4.4 billion in just my agency alone. This is something that you're going to want to listen in on this training because this training is like nothing else. But I want to actually talk to you just like a friend today. Because let's be real for a second. Government buyers, they don't wake up hoping you'll send them that 80-page document full of jargon, right? You just upload the RFP and then you're done, or copy and paste text from ChatGPT, which is totally fine because we're going to talk about ChatGPT in a second. But we want to tailor it to solve the problem that they have. We don't want to just throw stuff out there. We want to make sure that it's tailored to their needs. Even if it's a proposal for a state agency, so the state of Florida, the state California, the Department of State, whatever that state agency is, you still want to tailor it. Federal, still tailor it to the client that you're responding to. Local, the same thing. A school district, a police department, you still want to tailor it to them. This is just business 101, right? When you're submitting a proposal to a corporation or to another business or even to a consumer, you're going to want to tailor the proposal. Your price, you're going to tailor the services that you're going to provide, the scope, exactly the details that you're going to deliver. Everything is tailored. So you're not just like creating this one-time proposal and then just kind of spitting it out to everybody that has the need for your services. You're going to want to tailor it. But we don't want to just have an 80-page document. We don't want to be able to imagine what it feels like to be the person that receives your proposal. Does it make sense for someone who doesn't know anything about your business and more than likely is not the expert that you are? They're not great in construction. They're not great in electrician. They're not a marketer. They're not a website. They're not a consultant. They're not a professional services business. They are just who they are. They're asking for those services because they don't do that. And so what we need to remember is that we want to use their language, but then we also want to make sure that we're not delivering a package, a proposal that is so overwhelming with jargon that it doesn't land. It doesn't feel like this is someone who actually knows what they're talking about, even when they say a lot. There's a saying, hopefully I don't tear this down, but there's a saying that people who talk a lot have nothing to say. So we don't want to say a ton of stuff. We want to make sure that our message is succinct, direct, and to the point. And what I love to add into the proposal so that it really changes and transforms the message we're speaking and sharing with those clients is building momentum in the proposal. Melinda, how do I build momentum in the proposal? We'll talk a little bit more about that later. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and our Facebook group. We will be answering questions from our Facebook group. So if you are in our Facebook group, Congratulations. You got an opportunity to be like no one else, get access to the replay and to get questions that you have answered right now, real time, live, and also when you watch the replay in the group. So, everybody else, you can still comment, but at the end of the day, bring those questions over there. We are building a community and we want you to be a part of it. Okay. So, I want to share with you the 7 mistakes that cost contractors a lot of money, right? A lot of money. Now, the thing to remember is that your agencies, the agencies that you're responding to for a contract, a winning 6-figure contract, $100,000, $1 million contract, a $500,000 contract, a $50,000 contract, these are what they're saying. Many of them are my friends, colleagues, associates who are sharing their feedback. They're just like, oh my goodness, they're making it more complicated than it needs to be. They need to simplify it. And I'm sharing this information with you. So here are the 7 mistakes that are costing contractors tons of money, because the time that it takes for you to create the proposal, to respond to it, to put together a fee, put together a team, write the narratives, all that stuff, doesn't matter, AI or not AI, it still takes time. And time is the most valuable asset that we have as a human being, as a human race. So we don't want to waste time and we don't want to waste money, right? We don't want to waste our resources responding to things that we're not taking the time, we're not becoming the master of, right? We're just being kind of like, oh, were we submitting a proposal? Like, how did you respond to that proposal? What did you say? Here are some questions that I commonly hear. I want to share them with you. How do I even start a government proposal? Well, let me share with you real quick before we get into the 7 mistakes, is you start the government proposal with intention. I know it's really vague. It's like, what? What do you mean, Melinda? You have to have an intention to deliver on the services they're mentioning in the solicitation. So it's not just, oh, let me find something. What are they looking for? And then I'll just go ahead and deliver it. I don't teach that way. Some other people do. That's them. I'm different. I want to help you grow and build a business. Not only that, to increase the value of your existing service business so that maybe you want to sell it. Maybe you want to buy businesses and now you have the tools to do so. So it's intention. It starts with intention. How do I plan to deliver on this promise? What should be included in the government contract proposal? These are questions that are so good, and I want to make sure that I'm answering them to you for you today. What should be included in a government contract proposal? These are questions from our Facebook community. They are amazing at asking questions, and I want to make sure to answer them as well. If you are a part of the community or you're joining, we have we're able to add you in so you can ask your questions and watch your replay or join us live. What should be included in a government contract proposal? So truly, you need to have your entire response to the question. The solicitation is the question. The solicitation is the question. What is a solicitation? It's your RFP, your request for a proposal. It could be an intent to bid, your sources sought, your request for qualifications. Whatever the government is putting out, the agency is putting out in so that you could respond to win a contract. That needs to be responded to. Now, I have taught hundreds of people how to win government contracts, and I'm going to share with you that you don't want to skip over details and just respond to what you want to respond to. Sorry, but you have to respond to what they're asking for. Even if you do not provide those services, you want to say, this is not a service that we provide. You don't want to ignore it. You want to respond. Now, if it is something that you don't provide, I highly recommend as an advisor to find a subcontractor or someone you could partner with to provide those services. That way your response is complete. Okay? Imagine someone is looking for a one-stop shop. They're looking for someone to deliver this thing. I could care less about all the details. I just want this to be delivered by someone who has expertise and experience doing it. This is how you respond to a proposal. You don't skip the steps, you respond to it eloquently, professionally, and succinctly. What format does the government want? This depends on the request, the solicitation. It could be in a form that they provide. It could be in your standard Word document, a Google document. It could be in a portal. So they actually have a portal page that you fill out your information and you just press submit. It depends. See, when I want to talk a little bit about my 5 steps of the GovCon sales strategy so that this starts to make a little bit of sense. So I'm not going to talk too much about it because I want to make sure the rest of our time together is on the proposal itself. But step one is to prepare. It's about preparing with the end in mind. It's like, what are you selling and how much do you want to sell? When you know these things, you're in alignment with abundance because there's a lot of opportunities that your business can take. You can take a lot of opportunity. If you focus on, well, what is available, and I'm just going to go do this and this and this, and they don't make any alignment sense, you're just causing yourself more work. Now, as a business owner, as an investor, as an entrepreneur, you're not looking for more work, are you? You're looking for less work. So that's why you want to focus on services that you already provide, building more optimized systems, automate them, really deliver and delegate workload to team members so that you're not having to do that. And you can't do that when you're doing all these different services and creating all these different things and responding because they're just available, right? It causes more work. It's true for everyone that I have seen gone through this journey, is that they get really excited. They get like this GovCon eagerness, and they're just like, oh, I can submit on this one, this one, this. And it's like, yes, you can, but think about the end in mind. Consider the end in mind. Do you want a business that is working for you, or the business that you're working for it? Which part do you want to leverage? Do you want you to be the lever, or do you want your business to be the lever? Do you want you to be the thing that is holding your business together, not allowing you to sleep at night, not allowing you to travel, not allowing you to step back, and not allowing you to really have any time or money freedom? Or do you want a business that is going to be reliable on itself? This is why government contracting is a pro level a strategy. It is not something that you want to take in. I mean, you could. It's just, I mean, the longevity of it is not going to work best for you because you're going to burn out much faster. Yes, there's opportunities galore for your business to grow. But the scaling part, if you're at 6 and 7 figures in your business, the number one challenge you're having right now is scaling, right? Optimizing, systematizing. You can't systematize if you're adding other service lines just to make things work. You want to make sure that you're getting crystal clear on your business. That's step number one. Step number two is targeting. Target clients to actually buy what you sell. There are more than 99,000, I did the research, 99,000 agencies across the United States that you could sell to. There's tons of clients that you could sell to. Do we want to target all 99,000? No, we want to target a very small amount, get really good at delivering, responding, messaging, pricing, and then we expand. This is what smart business owners do. This is what amateurs don't understand about wealth creation. Being very focused and deliberate, diligent, and intentional about your activities is what's going to grow your business. If you just spread yourself too thin, you're going to get what you put in. Okay. So that's step number 2 of the GovCon sales strategy. 1 is prepare, 2 is target, 3 is strategize, deciding whether or not you want to be prime or sub for the opportunity, meaning that you don't have to be prime for every opportunity that's available. You get to build partnerships with others that could be prime and you be sub. There's pros and cons on both sides. Everybody wins though. Okay. So step number 4 is submit. 4 is submit is about submitting a fee, submitting a proposal. Talk about that, and this is why you're here today. Step number 5 is track, is go back and actually get the feedback from the client and find out, what did you do right? What did you do wrong? And how to improve, how to make it better, and grow and build that relationship with the client in the opportunity, the journey. Don't wait until afterwards. Do it then in the moment. As soon as it's awarded, give it a cool time and then reach out. And there's ways to do that. Make it simple to outreach with some scripts. So, what format does the government want? It's what they want. What does a client want? You've had clients before, they like different things, right? You've standardized some things, and there's other things that you needed to customize based off the client. This is why we want to be really intentional on how we are targeting our clients in the government world. How do I price my services in a proposal? Such a good question. We cover this if you are joining us in the GovCon Millions Masterclass this Wednesday at 10 a.m. It's on July 9th at 10 a.m. We're actually going to be talking about pricing and proposals, going a little bit deeper than we have in the past. Every masterclass is different. And when it comes to pricing your services, it is so important not to undercharge. Like, if you're thinking, I got to be the cheapest so that I can win, no, again, think about the procurement officer, the person that is receiving your proposal. They want peace of mind. They want to make sure that you can actually deliver on this contract for the life of the contract. So if you're interested, you're like desiring to win a contract for, let's say, a year or 3 years, are you going to want to, you know, submit under what you believe it could be? You're like, oh, well, it's valued at like 500,000, but I really want this, so I'll put it at 350. And you submit your bid. God forbid you win. God forbid you win and you have to deliver $500,000 worth of work for $350,000. Now you, out of your pocket, out of your business, have to come up with $150,000 just to keep it going, right? Now you're in a deficit. So we don't want to do that. Put it as it is. How much does it cost to deliver the services that you will provide? It's not every situation where it's the best and final. Best and final is a pricing strategy that many federal contracts put into evaluation. Most of it's on the product side, not the service side, because it's a little bit includes the time and materials. There's other elements of the equation that are included in the services pricing that we want to keep in consideration for flexibility, but it's all transparent, right? But I say that because pricing your services as they are is so critical. And with your proposal, if they're asking for a proposal and a price, this is going to be based off value. So value is the value of your price and the value of your expertise, your knowledge about solving this problem. How do I make my proposal stand out from competitors? We're going to talk about that in a second. What certifications or registrations do I need to submit a proposal? So this is a blanket statement. When it comes to certifications, unless it's giving you clearance like a security level or it's a part of what you do. Say, for example, you're in construction, you need a license or a certification or registration to do business in general with anybody for your business, then that's the same thing that you would need to win a contract. Now, if you are not a minority business owner, if you don't need a certification, a minority disadvantaged certification to win a government contract. There are tons of opportunities available. And the reason why minority certifications are there is to add opportunities for smaller businesses that have disadvantages, but not to say that you can't win a contract if you don't have any of those disadvantages. How long does it take to write a winning proposal? Well, back in the day when I started writing proposal, it took me 30 to 50 hours, several weeks of writing. But now with AI, we do them in several days, if that. And that's like a $1 billion contract. It takes us a couple of days. For something that's 5, 6 figures, it could take you a couple of hours and you're done. Now that's because you have all your elements. You've been in business for a while. You know what your services are. You've provided this specific service before. It's a lot faster because you're not having to like guesstimate through the process. You just pull from something that you already have. Why do my proposals keep getting rejected? Well, I had to look at your proposal. I would have to look at your proposal, but more than likely, from what I've seen, helping businesses of all kind of sizes, services, um, from construction, IT, consulting, professional services, from startup to all the way to 8-figure, 10-figure businesses, it's usually the same thing. You're talking a lot about you, but not about the client, and you're not focusing on their problem. You're telling them why you're great, which is really communicating that you're coming from a very fear mentality and not coming from expertise. Um, that's just what it is. Okay, so why do my proposals keep getting rejected? Okay, we just talked about that. And then the last question here, before we get into the 7 mistakes businesses make, is can a small business really win a government contract? Can a small business really win a government contract? I want to actually tell you a story of one of our clients that actually she started a business. Should I tell you this one? I don't know. There's so many stories. We have like a whole file of David and Goliath stories. These stories are basically stories of people who have won contracts and they didn't have everything. They responded properly. They were strategic about the response, but what they were lacking is years and years and years of expertise, right? So they were just like, I don't think we could win this contract, Linda. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you have no idea. If you can respond to the client and tell them that you can help them and you can actually help them, and you have proof of helping people, whether that was in a job, whether that was in your company, whether that was some volunteer work where you didn't get paid, doesn't matter. You have expertise and you can deliver the thing because you have proof delivering the thing, right? It's the know, like, and trust that you're creating in the proposal, then you're good to go, right? Okay, I'll tell you about this one story, and I'll leave the other one. There's one really good story that I want to share with you, but I'll hold off on that one for the masterclass. So, if you're interested in learning how this entire thing goes together, how to actually start winning government contracts, how to write really good winning proposals, join us for our GovCon Millions masterclass on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it will be amazing. You can go ahead and go to govconmillions.com and register. I'll actually just put the banner up for that. There you go. So let's talk about the 7 mistakes most people make when writing government proposals. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because once you have this clarity and you know exactly what these things, I hope, okay, this is going to help you so much. All right. You guys, you need to understand that you're not alone. A lot of people have the same exact question that you have. And I'm excited to share with you what those answers are. Okay, so we're ready? Okay, we're gonna go. All right, so the first mistake that I see people make when writing government proposals is starting without a plan. I just gave you the GovCon sales strategy. If you start with a GovCon sales strategy, you will 100% increase your win rate. If you follow it step by step, you will 100% increase your win rate. How can I say this so confidently? Because every single person that has utilized my system, they have gotten the results. They have put in the work and they've gotten what they wanted. They've won contracts from proposals. Time and time again. Once you understand the GovCon sales strategy, the proposal part is easy because you're just taking elements that you gathered through those other 4 steps, right? Prepare, target, strategize, then we got submit, which is a proposal, but then 5, track. Now we have the elements to put into the next proposal and the next one. We are iterating through along the way. How many of you actually have an iPhone, right? I have an Android. I love Androids. I'm not changing. Okay. But for my iPhone fans, right? And Android fans, okay, I'm not going to lie. What version phone are you on? You're on like 20 something, right? I lost track, to be honest. See, everything that we are seeing as success is an iteration of something that existed before. The car that you drive, the TV that you watch TV on, the computer that you have, the clothing that you have, the food that you eat, everything has been an iteration of something that existed before. And so your proposal, the first time walking through the steps, it's not going to be perfect. And I don't want it to be. I want you to get it done. I want you to get it done and out the door and to the client and really follow these steps properly. Okay. The mistake that I see people make, the number two mistake that I see people make is using generic boilerplate language. Oh my gosh. Okay. So boilerplate language is like you have a canned message for each question that you see comes into your copy and paste. It's amazing, especially when you are growing your business. You're adding team members to just respond to proposals with AI help and trying to get it off your plate and all that stuff totally makes sense. But we want to learn how to use them properly because it's not just copy and paste and you say the exact same thing every time. It's tailoring. We talked about that a little earlier. Finding opportunities to massage the language, you know, especially when you get to know a client, you see things. For example, there is in South Florida, there is well, here in Florida, across the state, there is a surge for multi-family housing. So residents like in apartments, there's a lot of apartments going up. Well, to it's a domino effect. We talk about this in another program that I offer. It's called Money Flow. So the domino effect of that is creating the infrastructure to support those apartments, right? So water, electric, okay, everything that you would need to make sure that people live there safely and comfortably. Now we have to think also like how do they get their packages delivered? Well, then that booms industrial, so manufacturing plants where Amazon packages are going, and so on and so forth. So and then you have parking lots, and then you've got restaurants, and you got grocery stores, and you got recreational stuff, you got entertainment. All of those start to have a domino effect. When you understand the problem that your client has, say for example, the Miami-Dade County is your client, and you're responding to a proposal, knowing that that is their number one challenge is housing, and you're responding to a housing proposal for real estate. Now you can speak to the landscape, their perspective. You're not speaking from your perspective, you're speaking from their perspective. I understand what you're seeing. I see what you're seeing. You see this, 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 and this. And it's tying to this. And they're like, yes, you want a whole bunch of nods in your proposal. That is how you start to massage the language to speak to not only the expertise from your boilerplate, but also customized to the proposal itself. Pricing blindly. Oh, well, I'm just gonna, I don't know, 150,000, right? No, never. No, don't do that. No, no, no. Right? Because well, there's many reasons, but I'm going to share with you two different reasons why you don't want to do that. One is you're going to see the client again, right? They're going to do some level of math. There are contracts that are not required by law to be publicly advertised because they're small. They're small opportunities. They could just, it's a phone call, right? Hey, can you do this thing? Right? And they're using your past proposal as a model. Now, if you underprice yourself in that proposal and they call you up and they're going based off those, is that exactly your base price? Because you put your hourly in there, 9 times out of 10, they ask for the hourly in case there's an ad service. And so you're sitting there and you're just like, yeah. And you didn't take the time to understand your pricing. You're going to cut yourself at the knees every single time there's an opportunity. Yeah, you could tell them it's updated. Yeah, you can say I have got updated pricing now, right? But make sure that it is your pricing not blindly, pricing strategically. The second reason I would say is that it's not always going to be the lowest bidder. Like I mentioned earlier, it's not going to always be the lowest bidder. And so we want to make sure that we're reading the RFP, the solicitation appropriately to find out how they're making their decision on selecting the contract. Okay, the fourth mistake that I see people make is skipping compliance details. Oh, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Okay, so I gotta breathe. If you have a license, make sure it's not expired. Certification the same, but if you do not have one to run your business now, you do not need one. Period. Period, period, period. Unless you are needing a level of security clearance or etc. Right? Everything else is optional. Everything else is optional. And you don't want to skip out on the compliance details. Like what they say in the solicitation, you need to respond to it. Okay. You're building a relationship. It's kind of like if you've ever had a conversation with someone in a really loud space, like a party or something, and you're like talking blah, 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 and then they ask you a question and you're like not sure exactly what they said, but you try to like go ahead and shoot for the stars and respond to them. And you're off a little bit, but you could tell from their face, they're like, what did you say? Maybe we can take this conversation somewhere else quieter, right? You want to make sure that you're responding as well as possible and not just guessing, right? We're not wanting to skip steps or details from what they shared with us. We want to respond to exactly what they said they needed. This is how we show customer care. This is how we are diligent. This is how, I once heard well, actually not once, it's several times actually. But I heard a client say to me from the government, so a government agency, say, and there's several people on the panel agreed to with it, and they said we could actually tell the type of client, the type of vendor we're hiring based off their proposal. And we won't select them if there's spelling errors, there's typos, like things don't look clean and organized. Now, they're not saying professional. They're not saying it's going to look like you spent $1 million on it. They're saying just keep it like detail oriented, crossing your T's and dotting your I's. And that means responding to what they asked for. The fifth mistake that I hear businesses make is failing to prove past performance. So, talked a little bit about that. It's like, Melinda, if I don't have past performance, it's like, cool. You have start with what you know and then grow from there. Be a subcontractor, right? Like, there's endless opportunities for you to start winning contracts. Endless. If you do have past performance, so if you've been in business for 3+ years, 5+ years, 10+ years, you have tons of experience. You don't start with what's most recent and then work backwards. Start with what's most recent and work backwards from a pricing standpoint, scope of work, etc. More than likely, you're going to get that question anyway in the solicitation, is to show the most recent experience or relevant experience. And if you start there, you're going to work better. Now, so a few tips about showing past performance is it's not going to be a journal. Like you're not going to have like an entire page for one project, right? Unless they specifically ask for all details. You're going to want to make sure that this is succinct as well. What is the relevancy of this project? Right? Because if you're showing, say, for example, you're an electrician and you're like, oh, yeah, I know how to do those X, Y, and Z type configuration infrastructure systems, blah, blah, blah. And I've done them for hospitals, and then I've done them for multifamily, and I've done them for commercial industrial, and it's like all over the place. For a client who is not an expert like you, because they're hiring you to be the expert, it might go over their head. So how do we simplify this and take out assumption? We just say in the title of the project what it was so that they see the relevancy. I like to put bulleted lists. So like a quick summary of what the project was, and right below it, a relevant to this scope of work or relevant to this project that I'm bidding or submitting on. And that way they know exactly why you put that in there, right? So it's a way of communicating your language in their words. The sixth mistake I see businesses make over and over again with their proposals, oh, is overcomplicating the narrative. What I like to do, what I like to recommend you do is just talk about it. So if you got Google Doc or Microsoft Word, just click dictate. You could do it on your phone, just record it right on your phone. I like dictate because it just translates to text. You could use a tool like Loom, loom.gov or .com. You can use Zoom and download the transcription, right, of you talking up through your project approach, your past performance, the narratives, like actually just read it aloud and just respond to it. That's a really quick tip. And then you could take that into ChatGPT and tailor that. It'll be more in your voice, and you're also teaching ChatGPT your voice at the same time. So that's a killer move. So that's what I would say is don't overcomplicate it. Get straight to the point, follow the system, make sure that they can see it in their minds. So, like, step one, we're going to do this. And then once we've done that, and this is what step one includes, blah, 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 then we'll go to this, right? We move through the process like we're talking to someone. And this is the best way that I have seen people write proposals fast if they've never written before, is just like talking through it aloud, right? And the cool thing about AI is that they can translate it and make it easier for you to copy and paste and put it into your proposal that's completely tailored. And it doesn't take you a lot of time. So if you're not a big writer, you could be doing this while you're cooking, cutting the grass, driving home, right? And you could be utilizing that time to write narratives. And then the seventh mistake that I see people make is they submit and disappear, and they never build a relationship with the contracting officer or the procurement officer. They're just like, they submit and then they walk away. Well, step 5 of my GovCon sales strategy eliminates that. Your job in that step is to follow up. Even if you don't win. I know. I hear it's like, oh, I don't want to because I know I didn't get it. Why would I do that? Because you want to find out what was the deciding factor. How can you improve? What are their thoughts on your business? Is it something that we said that wasn't clear? You want to get all those details and that information from that conversation with an officer so that you know you can iterate and improve your proposal for the next time, because 85% of proposals of contracts repeat. 85% of contracts repeat, meaning that if you might be on a 1-year contract now, and at the end, it's going to renew and renew and renew every single year. So you want to always be the best so that you can continue to win always over again. Okay. All right. So here are some surefire tips. We're going to give you 3 fire tips to completely create proposals that get noticed. Whew. I hope this is really helpful. Go ahead and comment below. Let me know. For my folks in the Facebook group, looks like you guys are enjoying this. We are also on YouTube and LinkedIn, but the replay will only be available in our Facebook group. So, all right, these are 3 fire tips to create proposals that get noticed. Tip number 1 is use a compliance checklist. Use a compliance checklist. We have a tool that we created that is done and with AI that just makes this so much easier. But if you don't have access to that, you're not in our programs yet, you can still create your own compliance checklist for those opportunities that you're responding to. Make sure that you're not going to get disqualified. 22% of businesses make it through past compliance. 40% don't make it through compliance. So it's really, really crucial that you take the time and make sure you're responding to everything that they're asking for. Tip number 2 is mirror the solicitation language. Use their language. If they call it bottles and you call it cups, right? You're going to say bottles. You're not going to say cups. You're going to say bottles, right? You're going to use their keywords. And the really cool thing is you could just actually upload the RFP to a ChatGPT or to any AI tool and ask, say, can you make a list of the keywords from this RFP? And it will. So that way you can just use them when you're dictating or when you're speaking out the terms and phrases. Tip number 3 is to lead with a strong executive summary. Oh man, executive summary is I usually write and I teach to write the executive summary last. And the reason why I teach that is because the executive summary is kind of like it's like this beautiful red ribbon that ties the entire gift together. Okay. So, executive summary is going to be like the, the MC or like the master of ceremony. It's going to be the person who comes out in front before the presentation or before the show starts and tells you what you're going to experience before you experience. That is the executive summary. So it's really important not to make this another opportunity to talk a lot about stuff that's not necessary. You want to use this as a most than likely try to keep it to a one page, but it has to connect your company to the agency's mission and project goals. So how can you help them solve it? High level, right? You can bulletize this or number them. Like, here are the three reasons why we feel like we are the right fit for this project, right? Just really to the point. And then tell them this in this proposal, we're going to explain to you how, right? Or what our feelings are to hitting each one of them. So those are the three quick tips I can share with you. Now, I would love to invite you to the GovCon Millions Masterclass that's coming up this Wednesday. It's virtual on Zoom. It's invite only, so you gotta register to be there. And last one we had was insane. We had over 100 people register. It was so much fun. Everybody walked away with oh my gosh, we just stayed on. We couldn't, like, nobody could come off. We enjoyed the time together, and we're expecting that to be the similar experience. This time around, we're actually going to be focusing on a proposal. So, how to write a winning proposal, how to get that strategy so that it's crystal clear, right? It's dominating. And if you're serious about finally learning how to create a proposal that wins, join us. Join us. So we'll talk about the 5 steps to the GovCon sales strategy. We'll talk and answer your questions about the proposal. You can also upgrade to VIP and really just utilize that time as a strategy session with us. Is definitely something that we don't offer for free. Our strategy sessions range anywhere between like 1,500 all the way to 2 to 50,000, just because we can help people make a lot of transformations in their business and save a ton of time and a lot of energy trying to figure it out on their own. So we have that VIP option. But if you just want to show up for general admission, you can register today by going to govconmillions.com, registering right now, and secure your spot. I know that we don't take late comers. So if you register the same day, we start at 10 a.m. for general admission and 9 a.m. for VIP. We do not allow anybody to come in afterwards because we get on. We want to bless those that show up on time. So you got the website and you know where to register. Hopefully this training was helpful and gave you some clarity as to you might be doing right, or just to kind of get you ready to take the leap, because this is based off decades of experience, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of proposals we've helped people submit, and billions of dollars, with a billions of dollars in awarded contracts. With a 74% win rate. So you want to take advantage of the information in the replay. If you want to join our Facebook group, you can go ahead and go to GovCon Millions on Facebook and join the group. It's completely free and you can get the access to the replay. And otherwise, enjoy your week. Have a wonderful time. And I'll see you on Wednesday in GovConMillions.com.